saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream bars. Singing, this land was made for you and me. In a rainbow, followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of the diamond deserts. And all around me was sounding, saying this land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. California to the New York Islands, redwood forests to the Gulf Stream bars. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. Welcome to Little Big Voices.
Hey everybody, welcome to Little Big Voices. Wasn't that great? Man, thank you, David, for that. That was great. I was going to sing the beginning of that, and I don't know if David was in the green room when I was doing my thing. And when I said, "Hey, Meta, you sing it," he kind of pushed me out of the way. You know,
I thought you guys were going to do a duet.
that would be cool to do a duet.
Such
But
a
man,
great
God
song.
dang, that was good, David. Man, you know, he's from Oklahoma, Woody Guthrie. He had this saying. He said he only used 2 chords unless there was a woman in the room. He'd use 3. That was the way he splurged. Anyway, I'm Mark Cadell, and so happy to be with you tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us. Super excited about what's up for tonight. First of all, though, I just want to introduce our crew back there. We got Lalo on the switcher.
yeah.
Can we give him a big hand,
Woohoo!
everybody?
Lalo!
Lalo, how long you been switching video? 12 minutes. Part of my dream here is that people with little experience and a lot of desire just are able to step into something like that. So I want to welcome Lalo to the crew. And Shimmy, if you're watching, we're missing you bad. So be with you today. And then next to him on audio is Sparkles tonight. So
Yay, Sparkles! Woo, woo, woo!
and I throw Sparkles a bunch of stuff at the last minute because she's so good at it. She's a teacher, and that's what qualifies her to work with me. So anyway, thank you, Sparkles. And we got Federico on cameras tonight.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. The man.
You guys know him and love him from previous episodes. He's the guy when we were talking about speed dating, we realized he is speed dating. You know, we don't even have to go there; just hang out with Federico. So, and we got Miss K cooking up an amazing dinner for us tonight. We got pot roast in the oven and some gluten-free, flour-free, sugar-free everything free pasta, but it's going to be super
Wow,
good.
wow.
Yeah. And the best part, Melba Martinez. Let's give her a big hand. So, yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
Melba's hosting tonight. Melba's
Yeah, I
producing and
forgot.
hosting
Yeah.
tonight. Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh, so excited. You know, one thing I'll tell you about Melba real quick, and then Melba, I want to hear from you, is if you get within, like, I don't know, 10 or 15 feet of Melba, you're going to be enlisted into doing something, you know?
Fun, something fun.
Something fun or meaningful.
Yeah,
or,
meaningful. Right.
you know, I just want to hear a round of applause. Has Melba ever invited you to do something with her? Like, you know, work on a film, be on the crew at church. I mean, all sorts of stuff. So it's an honor to have you with me. She's also my creative partner in this whole thing. I was thinking about moving west of town. I was thinking about just like head out away from all the craziness and vibration. And something told me, no, go in. And I go in. And it's like, yeah, go in deeper. You got more work to do there in Austin. And it's been an amazing city for me. But I thought it was time, you know. And so I end up and I go, Melba, what would you think if I came over to your place? And she lit up and started lying to the manager about me, and I got in. And anyway, so I came over to visit her, and she has this beautiful paint studio where she should be eating dinner. And I thought, wow, what if I did that? Maybe I don't have to go buy some middle school in Abilene or something and do my dream. Maybe I'll just dream it right here in this amazing place, 5 minutes from Barton Springs, Magic Waters, and you know, tacos. You could throw a rock and hit a taco place around here. It's just amazing.
What you've done here is phenomenal. I mean, you really have done a wonderful podcast setting and recording studio, really, and variety show and disco kitchen.
Yeah.
So I think everybody at home needs to realize we're doing a podcast, a variety show, and disco kitchen.
Yeah. How do you put that in one word, though?
And if you all could see this environment, it would blow your mind, because it's a studio, and we have a stage, and we have even a Texas stage.
Yeah, the Big Spring, Texas stage is a long name for
And then
that
we have
stage.
disco kitchen or kitchen disco. Cameras in the kitchen.
Why don't you hit kitchen disco up there for a second, Lalo, and just see what
kitchen
it's like.
disco is so cool.
Yeah.
And then we have a green room area and wardrobe and a whole table of operators, video, audio, switcher.
We also have a professional
camera.
makeup station.
Yeah.
Although the people are so beautiful that come on here, they don't need it, you know. But yeah, I can't wait till someone sits down at that makeup station and starts getting work done. And yeah, it's I love it. I've often, every time I'm in a studio, I do that for a living. I do video production for a living, and every time I'm in a studio, I wish I'd lived there.
Yeah.
For one thing, the air conditioner is always
creativity.
really down low, you know. And but every sound studio I've been in, I just want to get a cot and live over in the corner. So I think of myself as kind of like the bell ringer in a church, like in the little tower, and has a little mat over there. And that's how I feel around here. Like every day I wake up and just like, how can I serve the studio? How can it serve others? You know, it's a whole different orientation to life that I've never felt more at home than here, ever. It's
It does
weird.
feel good.
It's a weird feeling, but it's awesome. So thank you.
Well, I think you've done a great job with the studio and with our first 3 episodes. And so when you asked if I wanted to host tonight, I thought, great. And the first thing that came to mind was Nancy Schiesari has to be on.
Yeah.
Because she is going to share and create community. Because the way that she's created community and engaged community in 7 different locations or countries, 7 different locations. She's directed, been the director of photography for over 50 features and documentaries. And anyway, we're going to talk to her, but first we want to go back to David.
Oh, can we go back to David for a little bit?
Because he's going to kind of pray us in with this song called State of Grace.
Oh, but before we do that, I want you all to look at your calendar. You got nothing going on at 10 o'clock tonight.
Oh, that's right.
David will be 0.4 miles away from here at the Saxon Pub. And golly, just figure it out. You get the laundry going right now during the show and figure it out to get over to the Saxon Pub. This guy is really special. So, but I'm glad he's here. So take it away, Dave.
Like a dog in the darkness, charmed by the moon. Like a fighter made harmless by the stripes in his suit. Like a crack in the armor, like a runaway bride. Like a faraway harbor on the other side. Like a baby kept awake by the drum of the rain. Like a beast born to break away from its chains. I have walked in all directions looking for a state of grace. From the seaside possession to the cities of the plain. And in my reflection I could hardly see my face. Past the phantoms and the flames, past the reasons that I rage against the day. Like a millionaire weeping in the middle of a rave. Like a savior still needing something to save. Like a train out of Memphis in the hot midnight. Like the sun over Texas, like the soul's appetite. With its murder and
Wow. What a state of grace was that. Oh my God. When I first heard David's music, there was something, a tone that was not just speaking to me, but getting inside my skin. And I love that tone. It has fire. It has grit. And there's a passion. And thank you for writing that song, David.
Thank you. That's really sweet. You're absolutely welcome.
I wanted to ask you, when did you start writing songs?
I started writing songs probably in like 7th grade. I had just stumbled upon Nirvana when I was working as a dishwasher in a pizzeria in the small town in Wisconsin I grew up in, and they would play Nirvana on the radio. I was washing dishes, and it was like a revelation. And then just around there, my mom got me a guitar, and between Nirvana and then second revelation of Johnny Cash, it's just like I felt like there was a place for me in this world for like the first time in those songs, and so I wanted to continue to be in that world with the songs and songs of my own.
Wow. You know, it's like your songs stretch time. There's like sometimes a kind of ancestral sound or a lyric, a poetic, beautiful lyric. And it stretches like I feel like it can be like like the 50s all the way up to like all of a sudden I hear like a 90s sound. And it's a freedom. There's a freedom in your voice that there's an energetic freedom that I think really speaks to us today. And I'm really glad that you're going to be singing at the Saxon, because I want people to hear you, because it's like you're praying when you sing, and you really mean it. And, I feel like we need to hear your voice. As people, we need to hear your voice. I feel like there's power in your lyrics. Anyway, this is all a way to say I'm hoping you're going to sing from your album Beloved.
Well, thank you for those words. The songs do feel like a prayer, and I think that place of that I mentioned a moment ago, finding in songs is that place of freedom that you hear or you just mentioned. So thank you. That pieced something together. I'm gonna play a song, the first song off of my record Beloved, called "Play It Safe." It's the first song, and it's a song. It's always hard for me to say what my songs are about. Not because I sort of take delight in being difficult or opaque, but because I think that sense of freedom, Melba, that you talked about, can only be arrived in places that defy easy categorization or summation. But I know this song is about guilt, and taking guilt that's not your own, but taking that, because sometimes that's the safest path you got.
One more day inside the fever, one more day, my deceiver, one more guided tour of the dark. Now I hijack the masterpiece, I break the frame, I let it leak. Could someone please just tell me where I parked? Now sirens sound all over town. Hate to bring it up, but you let me down. I kept my head and I lost the plot. 'Cause the more I am, the less I want. The more I am, the less I am not. And it's one step forward, 2 steps back. Oh, baby, it's a bit abstract. I'm just here to set the record straight. Paradise made paralyzed. It's a tender look inside your eyes. I see now you stumbled like a disgrace, 'neath her words of all the blame that you embraced, you misplaced. And there's a way, play it safe. I'm caterwauling in my head. I don't wanna go where I've been led. It's getting colder every single day. That crimson burn, the phoenix rises, ace of spades and Dionysus. I'm torn apart in every single way. So press your face up against the glass, fall into your tortured trance. I went away and I danced the dance. I looked for what I never had. I looked for it and baby, it looked bad. It's one step forward, two steps back. Oh baby, it's a bit abstract. I'm just innocent for record straight. It's paradise made paralyzed. It's a tender look inside your eyes. I see now you stumble like a saint in disgrace, 'neath the weight of all the blame. It's you embraced, it's you misplaced. There's a way to play it safe. It's one step forward, two steps back. Oh baby, it's a bit abstract. Hey baby, it's a bit abstract. Oh baby, it's just paradise made paralyzed. It's a tender look inside your eyes. But what a tender look inside your eyes. Oh, don't you lose that look inside of your eyes. Oh.
The time has come to dispense with this twaddle about suffragists. We went up against the most ruthless and powerful machine that ever fashioned its tentacles on Texas and the United States.
There was hope of a better day.
These women are organized.
Tú eres una persona libre.
We were the smartest group of politicians in the state.
They were citizens at last.
Well, that was fantastic. Seeing the Citizens at Last trailer right after David sang that beautiful song from his CD Beloved brings a lot of feelings, because I had the privilege of working with Nancy on this, what I called labor of love. You know, as a director, sometimes you do different pieces for different reasons, but every one of the actors that participated in this project, the Citizens at Last, Texas Women Fight to Vote, a very special documentary that Nancy Schiesari directed and produced, along with Ellen Temple was the first producer, or a producer. And I'm tongue-tied because I have so much feeling about our experience, our collective experience with creating this meaningful piece. Citizens at Last, you're going to get a chance to talk to Nancy and meet her. She's a beloved friend of mine for like 30 years. And so, without any ado, I'm going to introduce you to Nancy Schiesari. Hi.
Hey.
Can you believe we've been friends for 30 years?
Yeah, and it's gone through all kinds of ups and downs.
I know. I met Nancy as an actor in a piece that she directed called Loaves and Fishes. And I was trying to remember, was that 94 or 95?
94.
94, wow. Well, Loaves and Fishes, you can actually see it on YouTube if you want. Script by Amparo Garcia Crow at the time, right?
Yeah.
And that's a meaningful piece. It was so much fun to work with you then. But we've done other projects together.
Yeah.
And
but before I go, but that one also has Amparo acting in it with you and her son.
Right, Shaky Graves.
Shaky
I forgot,
Graves.
Yes.
He's 10 in it or something, but
right.
It's worth seeing just for that.
And
for
I'm
him
just
too.
thinking, it won a Latino Film Fest award.
Yeah, and it played at South by Southwest.
Yeah,
too.
and also the James Olmos.
International Film Festival in Los Angeles.
So it was a very important piece that we did together. But since then, wow, we've done a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But the latest project is what we're really going to focus on, Your Citizens at Last, because I know I speak for my family and friends and colleagues that have seen the piece. Mm-hmm. They've all marveled at the depth of it, the way that it, like David's singing, evoked an interest and a passion about this is our land, this is our life, and as human beings, it behooves us to engage and create what we want. That story of the women's suffrage is so inspiring. I mean, Nancy, you've done a lot in your career as a cinematographer, producer, and director. I want to go back and kind of let people know how you became this creative being and have been so dedicated to not only creating meaningful documentaries like the Canine Soldier film, which is absolute marvel and won tons of awards, and the Hidden Man documentary that you made of Martin Scorsese as well. I mean, so many of your pieces have been about, I think, what's important. And what's important is to be alive and engaged and contribute. And you definitely are a good role model for all of us. I wanted to let our audience know that Nancy started out as a painter. And she went to the Royal College of Art in London. And that's where she got her start as a painter, but then she moved into cinematography, right? Mm-hmm. And then you came to the United States. And tell us a little bit about where you went right from the Royal College of Art to the United States. Did you go right to Austin?
No, I was in California for 2 years, and I worked on a documentary there with Alice Walker and Patiba Parmar. We went to Senegal and Gambia together to do a film on genital mutilation for women.
Wow.
And it was based on Alice's book, Secrets of Joy, and about women being able to survive trauma through forming a warrior mark of some sort, Wow. Changing their trauma into, something strong, strength.
What year did you do that?
Ooh, it was in the, I think, mid-90s, it was like 91 or 2.
And then you came to
1990,
Austin?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
What year did you come to Austin?
93.
93.
Mm-hmm.
And did you tell me that you're celebrating 30 years?
32.
32?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, at UT.
At UT, mm-hmm. At the famous RTF department.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've taught as a professor for 32 years,
yeah.
and did 50 documentaries and films?
Not all 50 happened over these 30 years. But I did end up, because you're teaching, you can't just pick up. Someone picks up the phone and calls you and says, we'd love for you to shoot this documentary, and it's in India or somewhere, and you just can't pick up and leave your students or your kids. I had 2 small children.
Right.
So I started making documentaries because they were something that one could evolve slowly in your own time, and not you're not working for somebody else.
So you were teaching and writing grants and getting funding for your documentaries.
You're right.
Wow. Yeah. Well, when I look at all the pieces that you've made, they're the kind of like the through line has been, like you just mentioned, Alice Walker's documentary. They're meaningful to everyone. There's a universality about, this is our world. We've got to change things. We can change things. Well, that's one of the things that every single actor mentioned in the piece of Citizens at Last. And we have some photos of the production, or not the production, but the production process of Citizens at Last that we want to give the viewers an opportunity to look at. So let's look at some of those photos, because what an incredible journey. That's a cast photo with Angela Smith and Jenny Jemison, Nancy, and the lady with the fabric is our costume designer. What was her name? Tara? I forgot her name for a quick moment. That's a picture right there when we were filming in front of a green screen, which is one of your innovative techniques on the film. And there you are directing the piece. We used the UT studios to do some of the reenactments. And I'm going to give you a chance to talk a little bit about, for example, your use of this innovation in the piece. Because I know that you did things in this documentary of Citizens at Last that nobody has done.
Well, that's not quite true, but
really,
I used techniques that were already out there, but they worked well with our film.
Like what?
Well, the green screen was a easy way to set up little kind of vignettes of women at their desk, working on typewriters, organizing, and also the green screen. We used text floating across, kind of in a very fast way, because the words were so important. Words are connected to the law, they're connected to your dreams, they're connected. So things that were trying to squash the suffrage movement, we also threw across, and things that were supporting the suffrage movement, or things that they said, we pushed across. So the green screen was that way, but it also created, just different backgrounds where we didn't have to go to the location, but we could have newspaper clippings blown up and successes. And
that was
but Melba, I've got to say something here, because as soon as you have to. This is a great venue that you all are creating, because it's called Big Little Voices, or Little Big Voices, and it's all about creating a voice. And in historical documentaries especially, you don't have real events anymore. You're just looking at archive film, archive history, and you have to use that kind of material, and you have to activate it in some way. And the strongest way was when you brought in those actors who you've known for years, because every time I go to the theater with you, they come out afterwards and hug you and congratulate and thank you. And so I knew from way back that you were the person to engage in this film and bring in those voices. And, those voices give the film life. And otherwise, we're just looking at black and white, archive, and, historical stuff.
And voiceover actors really take it seriously. I mean, they really gave it their all in that studio.
Oh, yeah.
And this was during COVID that we shot it,
That's
right?
right.
So add that layer of complexity and, concern, because we were having to clean every doorknob, every microphone, everything.
Yeah.
But
and when we finished that recording with Francis Dorn,
my God, yes, Francis
who was
Dorn.
just a great narrator. We came out that day, and the news that the Capitol had been attacked. It was January 6th when we finished the recording. We came out of Danny Levin's Tequila Mockingbird studio, and we had that news. So, yeah, the message of the film really is important right now, especially.
What is the message of the film
Well,
for you?
it's our democracy is based on two fundamental principles: the rule of law, which protects everybody in spite of their class, financial wealth, background. We're all equal under the rule of law, and the right to vote. And so women didn't have that in either. They weren't equal under the law, and they didn't have the right to vote. So they had no, we called ourselves a democracy, but it wasn't until the civil rights movement and other groups came in to finalize that term. And now, it's being hacked away with an axe.
The way that I've learned through the whole process of this Citizens at Last was unbelievable, because there were things I had heard about, but reading it in the Citizens at Last text that you used to create the film, I was in shock, and it didn't. Some of those things were really not that long ago,
right.
So it was a big, it was a great demonstration of the Margaret Mead quote when she says it takes a village, or not a village, a small group committed citizens to change anything.
Yeah.
And I think telling the story of Citizens at Last exemplifies that quote in such a beautiful way. And talk about community, those communities of women that gathered around to move something in the law with the legislatures. Mm-hmm. Even the way that the suffragists handled racism, the Hispanic and black suffragists were not invited to march with them in the parades. I just want everybody to know, if you've got to see this film. There's a good reason that PBS picked it up and had aired it.
So now it's on. If you have a smart TV, you can just download the PBS app for free and type in search Citizens at Last, and it'll come up. And then after we finished the film, we went ahead and made 5 more films, about 7 minutes each, about key women that we didn't have enough time to explore in the film. But it looks great on TV.
Well, and there's one photo that I thought about when you were talking about the film, because so many wonderful things happen when you're creating a documentary. But there was one moment in time when we were at the Capitol at 4:00 in the morning, and cameras were, setting up, costumes, makeup, and I'm on the second floor looking down, and I see you, and I see you see Carlisha, and you're whispering something in her ear, and then all of a sudden she lays on top of the Texas seal. That freaked me out. I got so excited, because how it felt like you had created a gestalt. The colors of her costume blended so beautifully with the seal, and the camera just swooped in and took some great photos of that. And I don't know, I must have taken like 300 pictures of that, because I went from every floor. But that little moment inspired me. We had just started the film, but seeing you create that, asking her to lay down on the seal, I don't know why it had such a huge impact. It's kind of like David's song. There are words that come together, and you have a feeling, and you have a tone to it, and it moves you. I had no idea it was going to move me so much, but I felt like you really understood what was at stake for the African American suffragists and for all of the races and all women.
Yeah, it's funny though, Carlisha, later when we all put that interpretation on that, where she's lying flat, kind of spread position with her arms out in this 1800s, outfit, and she's within the Texas Star, the insignia, and it's, she's almost like she's being sacrificed there.
Exactly.
But her interpretation, she said, as she lay there looking up at the rotunda, she said to herself, this feels just right. I belong here. So instead of seeing it as an image of victimhood, she reinterpreted it as I feel good here, lying down on the, in this space because this is where I belong. So it's really great.
And that's so good to hear because that's really what we want to do. Yeah. We want people to know this land is your land.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's your body.
Mm-hmm. I know. And I'm very pleased with the way we use the Capitol as the architecture. We were really lucky to have access to the whole building at 4 a.m, and I had already rehearsed with the actors to go up and down these stairs to really emphasize the power structure that they were up against. And they walk in, and the first thing they see are 15-foot statues of David Bowie and all the Texas heroes. And, and they had never been, women had never entered, really, the Capitol. There was only one woman, and she stood on top of the building, and she was made of plaster. She was it was a space where
it didn't make
African Americans, people of color, and women just didn't enter unless they entered as, in a subservient role.
Well,
they had no voice.
And even in the film, you talk about how women couldn't even get a credit card in their name.
Well, no, it was more like, yes, that's right. That was in the 70s. Up until the 70s, women couldn't have a credit card in Texas.
And if a man was married to a wife, he could, if he decided to leave her, that meant that he took everything in the bank account.
Yeah, there were no property rights. Women didn't have property rights till 1913 or so. And so if you were in an abusive relationship and wanted to leave your husband, you could go, but you took nothing with you, not even the clothes on your back, and certainly not your children.
So how could you go?
So, and that's why the temperance movement was another revelation I had. I always thought of it as this kind of fuddy-duddy, conservative women, teetotalers. And no, it was the women who, because, again, having no rights over property, over themselves, or any freedom. So if they were married to an alcoholic husband who drank his wages and she and her children had nothing, or he was abusive, she had no recourse. She couldn't do anything. So they thought if they could have the vote, maybe they could do something to stop this.
Well, and I think in the film you do a great job of really layering in the external forces that, I mean, it wasn't just one thing. It was so many things.
Yeah, but the underlying one was a racist society that wanted to keep women from voting because they were afraid of black women voting. They had already, in the South, defeated the 15th Amendment. Remember, the 14th Amendment gave all citizens, all people born in the United States, including formerly enslaved people, the right to citizenship, including women. But the right to citizenship didn't give people the right to vote. Mm-hmm. Lincoln gave black men the right to vote with the 15th Amendment. The Deep South, all the Confederate states, soon after Reconstruction, when they got their power back, they started finding ways to deny that federal amendment, the 15th Amendment, by creating Jim Crow laws, by violence, intimidation, lynchings, whatever, to stop black men from voting. So when women came forward and said, we want the right to vote, and the 19th Amendment was going to give all women the right to vote, that was all the Confederate states, including Texas, said no, because it's bringing back, equality, and we don't want that.
Wow. So it was kind of like a double-edged sword for all the African American suffragists. They were combating not only but the unspoken truth, the law, mm-hmm. that they couldn't vote and they shouldn't be, campaigning for the rights, but then they couldn't even join the white suffragists in parades or campaigns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
It was political expediency, so the suffragists said, because they were appealing to white men in power.
Yeah. And that matches so much of what's happening now with the gerrymandering in the legislation.
Right.
And kind of like redistricting communities so that more people vote in. Well, it's factoring into the way people vote.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I want you to mention some of the awards that the film and acknowledgments that the film has garnered, that you've garnered for your creative achievement with Citizens at Last. One of the things I want you to mention too is you told me about how the high school and junior highs, or not junior high, but secondary education and college, is how it's impacted the way we're going to be teaching Texas history.
Yeah, it's in the curriculum now for history teachers, which is really wonderful.
And they have study guides and everything like that. Wow.
So it's getting out there. It's so nice. Wow. So good. That's the whole point.
I mean, tell everyone how you started the project Citizens at Last.
Well, there's this. Can you see this book, Citizens at Last? It's a book published by Ellen Temple, who since the 80s has been the strongest advocate for learning about Texas history and women's fight for the vote. Without Ellen, this film wouldn't have happened. She did all this background work and supported scholars. And she decided that books were something kids didn't read anymore, so she'd like to make a documentary about it. And we met and we started talking, and we just got really excited about the idea of doing this in film that would, and bring all the work that she did in the 80s and with the scholars that contributed to this history, use that as a source.
Right. And in the film, you focus on some key people. You want to talk about them?
Yes, Minnie Fisher Cunningham and Annette Finnegan and Lula B. White, Jovita Dar. There was, all these great women have been hidden from history for a long time. And the story of this is really exciting, too.
And the way that you gathered all these scholars, and interviewed them, and then you kind of used their scholarship, their expertise today, and so they talk about what was going on in Texas, and then you would go sometimes to the reenactment of that moment, or talk about different things that had occurred in the kind of the evolution of the even being able to vote for the 19th Amendment. Who are some of the scholars that you interviewed in the film?
There's
I know Teresa Acosta was one.
Teresa Acosta, Rodriguez, Merlene Petrie. There's about 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, some really great scholars.
Yeah. And we also did bios on the scholars, too. So I made sure to interview them about why they took this history up, why, and it's on the website, little portraits of these scholars, because these women scholars were doing their PhDs on these obscure Texas subjects, and that wasn't really hot at the time. So, it was an area that took a lot of courage to say, I'm going to stake my dissertation and my future teaching career on this unknown history. And they did. And they're kind of heroes, too, because all the film comes out of their work that went before that. And the work of archivists, often unlooked, unappreciated. They're in all the museums. They work tirelessly to preserve images and film. Most of them, I'd say, were women who do that kind of work, librarians, and they're just brilliant.
Right.
We wouldn't have that.
No, and in the film, you do a really good job of interviewing them and then going to reenactments. And I wanted to show some more production photos because I recall that it was in August that year. I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
And it was really hot. And we were at the Capitol. And so I have some photos of us, the production work there. For example, you can see in lighting, the gaffer, or was that a prop master? There we are again with Ellen. Ellen Temple is right next to Angela on the
in black, yes,
in black, Ellen. Right. And Jovita, the actor that played Jovita, is hugging you, and the middle character is the actor Jenny Jameson, who played the lead character in Citizens at Last, Minnie Fisher Cunningham.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's Minnie Fisher Cunningham in an art shot that you took. I love that photo. The audience would really benefit from seeing or understanding Minnie Fisher Cunningham's life, how she got into politics, because she was a pharmacist to begin with.
Yeah.
And just learning about Minnie Fisher, she inspires. She did so much. There's a picture of the three lead characters, Folsom, Minnie Fisher Cunningham, and Carrie Chapman, right?
Carrie Chapman, Cat.
All huge legends
Yeah.
for the women's suffrage, legends. Tell us a little bit about that day that there was a fire in the Capitol, and we were all, remember?
Oh.
We had to go outside, and everybody had to spend hours on the line. It was really hot outside. And I thought maybe we were going to, stop shooting, but you just had everybody go out to the lawn and relax and just get chill, and then we waited for the fire. Was there an actual fire?
I don't think so. Smoke or something.
But we went right back to work. One of the things that I think that people will love to know is that you created a production company in 2010. And the reason I want to mention it now is I don't want to forget to invite our audience and people at home to take the time and go to Moti is MOTI.productions.
Yeah, MO-TI Productions.
Is there a dot after Moti?
No.
Okay, motiproductions.com, right?
Yeah. But there's a Weebly in there now.
There's a Weebly? How do you spell Weebly?
Weebly. It makes it free in perpetuity.
Oh, okay.
So I don't...
Yeah, so you can see some of Nancy's extraordinary work. And I also found that your UT profile was really informative. And I've known you for 30 years. And I know you've done a lot, but I was flabbergasted when I saw the credits, all of the things that you've done. I did want to tell the audience, you teach at UT narrative structure?
Narrative production and documentary production.
And I've had the good fortune of spending time in her classes. So
yeah, I invite Melba every chance we have to come in. She does. I've taken your workshops as well, and you bring in, you empower our students with physical exercises and chanting and also wording, which internalizes their strength, because being a student's really hard. You've got all these other people around, and you kind of forget who you are, and you come in and you do that 3 hours with them, and you turn them around, and I have you come in as often as possible.
Well, and I know no other professor in the universe that has been. You're so open, Nancy. You're so unique in that you pay attention. You pay attention to, things that people use as a resource or a reference. You go into it, and I remember your enthusiasm when I told you about the rhythms and the breath work and the yoga and this 3-hour movement intensive that I do with her students. I can see the light in their eyes comes back. And I think it's because actor training, you have to go within. You have to go into that library within. You can't borrow someone's creativity. And I think it's very innovative of you to even invite me into your film class.
Of course, Melba. I mean, you were director of the Mary Moody Northern Theater for how long? And you put on all these phenomenal plays and huge, ambitious productions.
I think we resonate.
I mean,
we have the same kind of aims.
I don't have that energy. No, I just admire it.
Well, I don't really have the patience or the attention span that you have, but I've been a big fan of your work. And I wanted to mention that every time I do teach at your class, the students tell me what a wonderful teacher you are. They even know that you making sure that I can do that 3-hour class is something that they're grateful for, because they know it's not done, in traditional classes. People are not really feeding your creativity. They just want you to learn things. Yeah. And you are opposite. You don't want them to learn something they can read in a book. You want them to know themselves and to contribute their point of view, their angst, their concern. I mean, I think that's why Citizens at Last is so meaningful, is that we can all identify with our ancestors, because they truly are. Every single group that we talk about in the film spoke to me about women that wanted the best for their self and wanted the best for their families. That's why they had to, fight. And they literally did fight. And they actually voted all of the legislators. Governor Hobby, how he got into office because of the work that the women did. That was impressive. I didn't know very much. I'm not from Texas, so I didn't take the traditional Texas
Nobody
history.
Nobody knew that history. It's not you.
But everybody was just
I didn't know it. No one. Yeah.
My sister and her brother-in-law in Denver, and then their family members in New York, all called when they saw the film, and they were in tears. They were moved. I was really impressed that they saw it. So thank you again for being. That's what I'm thanking you for.
You guys for doing this. What you're creating here today is so important. It's just the only way of resistance that we have open to us, to have a voice, to create a voice. And since we can't stand on soapboxes anymore, and only a small group would hear us, we have social media. We have a YouTube channel that you've created. That so much work has gone into this, and expertise, and all the recording and everything you have going here.
Well, Mark is very passionate, just like David,
Mark
just like you.
Unbelievable.
You know where you want to put your attention, where you want to put your energy in this world, in this life, and I salute you.
Thank you.
And before we go, I want everyone to see a few more. Actually, the last segment of Citizens at Last, and again, you can see that it's streaming. You can just go to citizensatLast.com. And thank you for being with us. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Melba.
In a letter to her close friend, Jane McCallum, Cunningham expressed her frustration.
The time has come to dispense with this starry-eyed babes in the wood twaddle about suffragists. We went up against and helped to break the most ruthless and powerful machine that ever fashioned its tentacles on Texas and the United States, and we knew what we were about. At that moment, we were the smartest group of politicians in the state.
28 years after her death, the Texas Historical Commission placed a roadside marker near the site of Cunningham's home. At the dedication ceremony, she was remembered as a dynamo who devoted her life to saving democracy from its enemies. Minnie Fisher Cunningham once wrote to her old friend Kat, "You can't just lean back and let them run over you." And she never did.
What I would want my daughter to know, and it's actually what I tell all my students every semester, you're going to find out many things that are going to be upsetting to you. But I don't want you to get discouraged. Stick with me. I tell them that they are no different than the men and women of the past who made this country better. We always have an opportunity, all of us, in our own way, to make a contribution in the struggle to become a more democratic nation. So we have the power. It's we the people, not we the government, not we the power brokers, not we the rich 1%. It's we the people. And as long as we can remember that, and we are the sovereign, then nobody can stop us. And nobody will.
Thank you all. Mark?
Dave, will you take us out a little bit here on